Intuitive guidance. Again with the frog. My goodness. Hopefully one of these days that's going to pass. If I could figure out what the cause was, I would take care of it. So give me a minute here. There we go. All right. So Instagram is rolling. We're all set. Happy Monday. Welcome to your early morning intuitive guidance. We're going to give it a minute for people to pop on because I'm back to the regular time. Today I went bing and woke up and I thought, well, might as well do the regular time. We'll see how many pop in. And it seems like once one of you pops in, then it starts sending the message to the others of you. So I have no idea if that's how it works, but in my head, that's how tech works. So, had an interesting discussion yesterday with some young friends of mine. Good morning, Joe Neal. Welcome. Looks like you're on YouTube today. Cool, cool. Young friends of mine. They are in their 30s and 40s. And one of them currently is traveling in Bangkok, Thailand. And we're all over the United States, but it's an interesting group of folks, and then I get to be the old person, bringing a different perspective, bringing a boomer perspective. But we were talking about tech and the things that are coming, and some of the things. The one of them, a young man, he's 33. Good morning, Abigail. Glad you're here. Um, almost got scammed. Almost got scammed because he has a business that runs online, and this responder looked as if it were a valid customer. And he's very tech savvy and he almost got scammed. So I'm thinking this is going to be quite something. I'm very glad my dad is to the point where he's past the tech because of the dementia. Using a phone is more than he can typically fathom at this point. Good morning, Barb. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. But one of the people on the call, her father is just to the point where he can still do stuff online, but he doesn't have the governor that says this is a bad idea, don't do this. And they've had some recent financial things where he's doing stuff and hiding it and not the wife isn't catching it all the time. Good morning, Beth. Glad you are here. Welcome. So some difficult stuff. So as the practical rebels are all rolling in, I have a guest post to share today from the Chip Conley Wisdom Well Substack post. That good morning, Nancy. Welcome. Glad you're here. That I think is going to be very thought provoking for everybody, and I'm excited to share it, and I'm excited for it to stir conversation because these are the kind of conversations I want to have. Not where are we going to dinner, but this kind of stuff. It's entitled, What Does a Good Death Look Like? And some of you are going, what? Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. But this is a very practical, pragmatic way to look at that natural course of our life, the ending, the natural ending that we're all going to get to. We're all going to get to. But before we do that, I would like to do some energy sharing, um, because yesterday on our unity intention, that which was lovely, absolutely lovely. Um, there were some requests for support, energy prayers, etc. So I thought y'all, practical rebels, could pop in on this one too and help out with this. So we'll do that first. Then we'll do our tapping and a little bit of breath. And then I will read you this and hopefully stir some conversation that will be really good. Welcome to all of those of you who don't want to post your name. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome. So there's three people that we want to offer some support to. We can set the intention that we're offering to all, right? But there's three I'm going to highlight. So if you want to rub your hands together, get them really warm. Good morning, Shelley. Glad you are here. Welcome. All right. Hold them up. Feel that energy beginning to flow. And the first little person we're going to focus on is Clara. Clara's 9 months old, and she's about to have a hip surgery. Sending energy to this little bitty being, this little bitty body, for a good surgery, for healing. for all the things. Just sending her energy. Her name is Clara. Gwen, did I say hi to you? If not, hi, Gwen. Glad you're here. And then there was another woman whose aunt had just passed away. So let's bless her on her way. Just sending that energy. Feel the hum. And then I received an email from an almost 86-year-old former client of mine who says, I know you're not doing psychotherapy anymore, but I need some advice. So let's just send her some energy. She's got some health issues herself. She's got a husband who has dementia. He never was very good at being of support to her, but now he's even less so. Sending energy. And trusting the divine unfolding of all of these things. Asking ourselves the question, what are we meant to learn from this? And as we're sending energy, continuing with those people you want to send energy to. Could be loved ones, could be yourself. You want to receive some. Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Energy, energy, energy. And I want you to imagine this energy moving around Mother Earth, swirling around. All of us who are on here, there's 9 of you and me right now. There's all the people who will watch over the course of the day. Sending energy, swirling it around Mother Earth. Healing Mother Earth, healing ourselves. And you can do this as long as you wish, as long as you wish. So, a little bit of tapping for us and some breath, breathing in through the nose, out through the mouth. And again, I remember what one of my mentors said, everything moves on the breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Feelings move on the breath, energy moves on the breath, thoughts move on the breath. Keep it moving, keep her moving. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. And you can keep that going as long as you wish. So, our words for today. What does a good death look like? It's a guest post. The author is Patrick McCleary. And this is on the Wisdom Well Substack post by Chip Conley, Conley. And he says, the subtitle is, A Good Death Isn't Luck. It's something we can thoughtfully prepare for. So he says, years ago, I attended a personal development workshop where the facilitator, who bore an uncanny resemblance to the red-headed singer from ABBA, Frida Lindstad, promised to reveal the ultimate meaning of life at the end of the weekend. How's that for a hook? When the moment arrived, she delivered it with total simplicity. We are all going to die. None of us is getting out of here alive. It felt cheeky at the time, but it stayed with me. It also struck me how easy it is to live as if this isn't true. How many people do you know deny death and dying? They don't plan ahead. I so experienced that in terms of creating my intentional community. People don't want to think about that. Nope, they think they're going to continue doing what they're doing the way they're doing it, living in the house with the 8,000 steps till they're done. Sometimes that works. Most often it does not. But they don't want to plan ahead. Today, after 30 years, so this is a writer talking, as a risk control leader in global banking, and more recently building frameworks for solo agers, caregivers, and families navigating life's final chapters, that moment often comes back to me. If the finish line is non-negotiable, it raises a more useful question. What does a good death actually look like? So think about that. I love that. The finish line is not negotiable. We're all going to get there. Nobody is alive today that has been alive forever, right? Those of us who believe that we come back, yes, we come back, but not in the same packaging. What does a good death actually look like? To answer that, I've learned to reverse engineer the exit. So if you think about what would my ideal death look like, sound like, feel like, and then work your way back. What are the things I need to do, say, set up, live into in the interim for that to be more likely? For that to be more likely. In my former life, my job was to identify what could go wrong and put simple, practical controls in place to prevent it. I still think that way today, and I prefer things broken down to a Schoolhouse Rock level of simplicity. Remember Schoolhouse Rock? Conjunction, junction, what's your function? Love all that. Anyway, when I strip this down to its essence, a good death comes down to 4 core domains. What I like to think of as the pillars of aging navigation. Wouldn't that be a great book title? He needs to write a book about this. The pillars of aging navigation. Number 1, the body. And in parentheses, he's got healthcare. A good death begins with awareness and acceptance. It means understanding when to shift from curing to caring. And there are many people who don't ever make the shift. They're so hell-bent on, I must survive. I must get back to my former level of functioning, which oftentimes is not what the doctors are talking about anyway. They're talking about survival rates. That doesn't mean you're returning to your prior level of functioning, but we like to view it that way and would rather they sometimes not say, here's what you can expect. Choosing comfort, dignity, and quality of life over unnecessary interventions. There are those people who have, no, you can't. It's part of the process, and it's natural. And the same way it's a struggle when we're birthed into this life, it can be a struggle when we're birthed into the next one. That struggle doesn't have to be negative. It doesn't have to be negative. So body and healthcare is the first one. Second one, sanctuary, housing. At the most basic level, we need to feel safe. A good death is grounded in a place that is clean, calm, and supportive. A space where the nervous system can settle, not brace. I love that. So a good place to die. What do you need in your good place to die? Third one is the order, business affairs. There is a quiet gift in leaving things in order. Clear documents, defined wishes, and trusted decision makers reduce confusion and prevent unnecessary burden for the people we love. That's part of the reason I've been clearing out my stuff recently. The less my family has to deal with when it's my time to walk on, the better, the better. And the fourth one is the soul, purpose and legacy. Perhaps most importantly, a good death is an anchored one. It means feeling connected to people, to meaning, to the story of your life. It's the sense that nothing essential has been left unsaid. A good death isn't luck, it's alignment. When our body, our environment, our affairs, and our sense of meaning are in order, we don't just prepare for a peaceful exit. We create the conditions to live with greater presence and less fear right now. So isn't that an interesting paradox? In preparing ourselves well for death, we open the door for living better. I love that. So as you look at your own life, which of these 4 domains is asking for your attention? Which of these 4 domains is currently asking you, yes, you, for your attention? Because in the end, preparing for death is really about learning how to live. And then there's a quote by Ram Dass. I love this quote. We're all just walking each other home. So then it has a little bit of information about Patrick McCleary, who wrote this. Patrick McCleary is the founder and CEO of Act 2, Aging Navigation, a platform dedicated to helping solo agers, caregivers, and families navigate the complexities of later life. After a 30-year career in global banking, he entered his own midlife chrysalis, setting himself on a path of reinvention and purpose-driven work. That journey led him to completing end-of-life doula training at the University of Vermont and the Navigating Transitions workshop at MEA's Baja campus, where he found a like-minded community and a new direction. An enthusiastic MEA, which is Modern Elder Academy, alum, he is now a member of the inaugural MEA Purpose Fellowship. So I loved that. I love that. I thought that was so spot on in terms of a beautiful way to look at opening ourselves up more to living whatever time we have left and preparing for a lovely death, a lovely death. So I hope you can be honest with yourself. Maybe you watch this a couple of times and different things will jump out at you at different times. But that question that he posed about which of these 4 domains is asking for your attention. I'm going to go and journal about all 4 domains, get a sense of where I think I'm at with each of these and what needs work, and then what that work might look like, sound like, feel like, and then do the work, opening myself up to have a richer life for the remainder of my time here, whatever that'll be, So let's take a breath, let it go, and resolve to do one little thing with this. It might be having a conversation with somebody about it. It might be looking up the article yourself. So it's Chip Conley, Conley, his Wisdom Well Substack blog post. That's where you find it. Good morning, Diane. Glad you are here. Yes, good stuff to work on. Very good stuff to work on. And I think for me, the word that's coming to me is satisfying stuff to work on. There, that's taken care of. Now I can get on with the business of living. So I hope this spurred some thought process, some conversations, some journaling, all the things, some activity on these 4 pillars, whatever it is that you feel is calling to you at this point in time. But again, if you feel like, I really need someone to talk to about this, I coach. If you want to check out my stuff, you can go to my website, empowermentandpurpose.com, and there's a variety of tabs there. You can check out my blog posts. You can also check out working with me. So there's links on multiple pages where you can sign up for a free 15 to 30-minute session. You fill out a little questionnaire beforehand, and we jump into what is it you'd be looking for and what is it I can do for you. And if there's a match, great. And if there's not, I might have other ideas of people who would be a good fit for what it is you're wanting to work on. So no harm, no foul. It's free. It's a half an hour-ish. And you leave the call feeling like you have more answers to the questions that you're thinking about. So consider coaching. Have an awesome Monday. Take on Monday. Meet Monday. Yeah, let's do this thing. Remember, you're capable of far more than you think you are. I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.